Okay, so let's get busy with looking at adding and subtracting real numbers. As you can recall from your pre-algebra course, we are talking about all of the numbers that construct the real number line. Those numbers are natural numbers, which are numbers from 1 to infinity, whole numbers, which are 0, 1, 2, 3, and etc. to infinity, and their opposite, which are -1, -2, -3 until infinity. But we also are talking about rational, which are fractions and uh, decimals, and you should go back and look at your pre-algebra course to determine what do we mean when we say repeating and terminating decimals. And we're also talking about irrational numbers too, which are numbers that include pi. All of these numbers are on the real number line, and those numbers, since they are real numbers, can be added and subtracted. And this is what we're somewhat going to cover here, even though we will begin just looking at primarily whole numbers and their opposite. So what we intend to learn here is how to add and subtract all real numbers. Some vocabulary that we need to take a look at is absolute value. Very important here, very important, because the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on the number line. So for instance, if we're talking about the absolute value of 10, then that actual number is 10 units from 0, so the absolute value is literally 10. Also, if we're talking about the absolute value of a -10, if you would count from 0 to a -10, it is also 10 units. So something that you might want to keep in mind, that absolute value will always be a positive number. Okay, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit, of how we use a notation for that and everything. Opposites. You will hear this word throughout your Algebra 1 course. Opposites are actually two numbers that are opposite. If there's sum, that means if you add the numbers up, and you will get 0 as an answer. So a number and its opposite are literally the same distance from 0, opposite sides of 0, same distance. And then additive inverses. Okay, a number and its opposites are additive inverse. You see how these things really correlate? So if you're talking about -10 and 10, those are additive inverses, and you need to really keep that in mind, because as you get to solving for a variable or solving equations, you need to know this additive inverse. Now, on a number line, real good information right here. So we want to make sure that we just take a few minutes. Not going to be a long video here, just a few minutes to understand some concepts. On a number line, to model addition, that means if you're going to add a positive number on a number line, you move to the right. No matter where you are on the number line, you move to the right. To model addition of a negative number, no matter where you are on the number line, if you're adding a negative number, you move to the left. Now, to model subtraction of a positive number, no matter where you are, you move left. And to model subtraction of a negative number, no matter where you are, you move right. And I hope you can see the actual correlation there between the two. Okay, just I know this is going to be a little difficult. Just take your time, and you'll be okay with this. Okay, now let's take quickly a look at an example where we are adding and subtracting. Just two examples really briefly, but we're going to take our time to make sure we're covering this. This tells us that we want to add a -3 plus 6, a -3. So the way you do this, you start at 0, and you're going to go 3 units left. 1, 2, 3. Here's where you're going to be, right here. Now it says you want to add 6. So adding a positive number, you go right. So you're going to come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Okay. So now, where are you? Look at your 0. You are at positive 3. So when we see, if we're looking at a negative 3 plus 6, our answer is a positive 3. So let's take a look briefly at the second one, and we're talking about a negative 2 minus a negative 9. So what we're doing is we're subtracting, but we're subtracting a negative number. Again, start at 0. So you're going to go what? Left, because it's a negative 2. 1, 2. This is where you are. Now you're going to go which way? It says you're subtracting. To model subtracting of a negative number, now you move back to which direction? Look at what your actual to the right. Okay, so you move back to the right 9 places. So here you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you started here, and you're going to wind up here, and where you wind up from here is a positive 7. So a negative 2 minus a negative 9 is a positive 7. So again, we're going to really take our time with this. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this video. The main thing that I want you to look at here is what these rules say. Just want to give you that little example, but we're going to work, and I'm going to make sure that you work a lot of problems here so we can understand these energy concepts. I'll see you soon.